Good morning, guys. It's another nice day up here at the cabin. Today I'm going to build a door for the mechanical room. Bring you back here. So it's starting to get pretty cold at nighttime, and I of course don't want the batteries to freeze, and the inverter shouldn't be operating when it's too cold out. Like I think -10 it says is its minimum temperature it should be in. So I'm gonna have to make a door to close in this mechanical room. So I'm gonna be using some recycled 2x4s I have. This one, got a couple longer ones here I'm gonna cut down, and that's gonna make up my door. And then I'm gonna use some wood from the sawmill to cover the door with so it matches the siding. It was 27 degrees Celsius yesterday, so which is just extremely warm for October. And now there is a new hatching of bugs, so the bugs are just crazy right now. So just when you thought the bug season was over, it's come back. back here at the door building the door for the mechanical room. I don't know when my battery died, so I don't know how much I got, but this is where I'm at right now. Oh, I'm just chalk the line here, gonna cut it down, flush along the edge down this side. I'm gonna put a door sweep on the bottom here. This is all leftover scraps of what I used for the ceiling inside the cabin. So this is going to be the inside of the door, and then I'm going to flip it over and bat the door with some R12, and then I'm going to match up some live edge siding on the other side of this door, which is going to be the exterior, and so it blends in with the siding on the back of the mechanical room. Well, this was just a 2x4. I just measured the measurement for the door opening. I think I gave it a 1/2 inch at the top and the sides, and then I just brad nailed on these pieces of rough cut wood, and now I'm just using the chalk line to mark the edges and cutting it flush down the edges, and then I'm going to get the hinges installed and do a test fit to see if it swings alright. You can see how smoky it is there. There's definitely a haze in there. So this is going to be the bottom. I might have to put in a strip here. I'm not sure how my door sweep goes. I'm going to have to get it and see, but... Alright. This is all nailed in here. I cut it flush down the edges. I got my hinges mounted. I'm having the door swing out, so these hinges, I couldn't have the hinge pin on the inside, so it's going to be on the outside. So I guess if someone wants to break in, they can just pull the hinge pins. So I'm going to go carry it over here and get it set in the door frame, and then mark out the hinges, and then I'm going to separate the two pieces of the hinge and just mount them, and then slide the door in place and put the hinge pin back in. I'm working alone, so it's hard to hold the door in place and get the hinges screwed in at the same time. For a bunch of scrap wood, I think it looks pretty good. I was gonna do the outside of the door like this, but I might do it like this and just butt the pieces up instead of doing the overlapping like the siding. There's not going to be any water hitting the door because there's a big overhang, so nothing is going to get on it, so I don't really have to worry about the gaps at the joints here because there's nothing going to be on it. And I like the way it looks with it just flush on the door. But we'll see. I gotta go get it mounted first just to confirm that it's actually gonna open. So I'm hoping I don't have to trim it any narrower if it's gonna bind at the edges. Transfer the marks over. Good morning, guys. So I ended up having to put the door on hold yesterday. I was invited down to the ranch that's 10 kilometers up the road. I was invited for dinner, so time got away from me, so I had to quickly put everything down and pack everything up and go for dinner. So now I'm starting up again first thing this morning to get this door finished. Here's where I'm at right now. That's the inside of the door. I just changed it up a little bit. So I originally had it mounted, the hinges mounted out on here so the door is flush. But then it wasn't really sealing up that well below, or it was going to be difficult to. So I've now moved the hinges back, and that way when the door is shut, it's going to be shut back like this. So it's going to sit in there, and then when I put my door sweep on down here, it'll be able to seal against the plywood. Now I just gotta go take the door off and get some more of these pieces of wood. I've got a bunch left, and then I'm gonna bat in these two cavities here, put some R12 in there, and then cover it with the rough cut wood. Okay, so I'm just gonna bat the inside of this door just so it is a little warmer, and then I'm gonna nail some more rough cut wood across. So this is just for the really cold days in winter. The inverter itself puts off a little heat. So I think if I have this door completely sealed up, it'll stay above freezing in there, even if I don't need to run my, I'm going to make a little radiator, but we'll see. I might need to fire up the radiator for when it's like minus 40 out. But I think for most of winter, if I get this door airtight with the weather seal, and then the entire mechanical room is all batted with R20, batted and polyed walls, floor, ceiling. So if I can get the door to seal up nice and tight, and the inverter should put off enough heat to keep it, well, I'm hoping that keep it around 0. I don't need it to be warm in there, I just don't want it to freeze. So I'm going to get that in place. And then shoot it with some brad nails. I'm going to come back and nail it with some actual nails. So this is just gonna be a rustic door, but it's on a rustic cabin, so that's alright. As long as all I need it to do is seal nicely. So it's gonna obviously, there's some cracks here, or gaps at the joints. So it's on the back side of the cabin, which doesn't get much wind, so I don't know if there's gonna be too much air coming through these cracks, but I think it'll be minimal. I don't know if it'll be a huge much cold air coming through. This is all just, I don't really know how it's going to work out in the end, but see this winter. So what I'm doing right now is the outside of the door. I should just trim this a bit with this saw. There we go, that's good enough. Alright, so let's see. Last piece here, and then I gotta trim it all flush with the edges. This is going to be made completely of scrap wood and scrap insulation. I bought hinges, they were $5, but everything else was just scrap wood that was laying around. The price of doors, if you look, like you can't get a door for less than $100. So saving money, everything I do, I try and do it on a budget. I'm on my last piece here. Alright, so now I gotta get the chalk line and the straight edge and mark all these edges. That I gotta trim with the saw quickly. Now I just need to get the chalk line, chalk down this edge and do this side. I'm gonna have to do chalk down that edge and do a couple pieces. Alright, I'm going to carry it over there and get it on the hinges and see if it opens and catches anywhere. Okay, let's go take a look. I got it on the hinges. Yeah, I think I like the way it looks. So it doesn't quite match up with the siding, and it kind of has a plywood look to it. So it does have a bit of a tweak to it. It's hard to, you can see it when I shut it. That's it. You can see there's a bit of white showing there. And then look up here, it's flush out. So the door is kind of twisted a bit, but once I'm gonna nail in my backer piece of wood in here that the door is gonna seal up against. So I'm gonna nail in a piece of wood in here that the weather stripping is gonna be attached to, and when I shut the door it's gonna seal against this piece of wood. So I'm gonna put it all, I'm just gonna measure the thickness of the door and figure out, mark a line where I have to put the backer piece of wood all the way around, up top as well, and down this side. Then when I shut, it's going to hit against the backer piece of wood at the bottom first, and then this top bit I'm just gonna have to push because it kind of, there's a bit of the tweak on the door, it's twisted a tiny bit. I'm doing the handle on this. I'm gonna do it's a chunk of a moose antler I just cut off. I drilled the hole here through it. Gonna be able to countersink this big 4-inch screw a bit. Now that's a handle. Odin's already been eyeing this up, so I'm gonna have to make sure he doesn't stand up and start chewing on it. It's my $5 door. So these are the strips I'm going to use as the backing for my door to seal against. They're going to be screwed in place right in here. Okay, so this piece should fit right in here. Piece. Get this just tacked in place quickly. I just didn't want this splitting if I just screwed the screws in. I'm burning through all my batteries. Alright, that does it for my $5 door build and install. If you liked the video, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to click subscribe to follow along.